Hi everybody, I'm Ellen. I'm Buckeye Cross Stitcher on both FlossTube and Instagram. This is FlossTube number 12 and this is October 24th, 2025. I'd like to welcome you to my channel, whether you're returning or you're new, and I'd like to thank my subscribers. This is a channel predominantly about cross stitch and occasionally about other crafting that I do, and I'm really happy that you stopped by today. I always like to show you the shirt that I'm wearing, and this is the new Primrose Cottage Halloween, and I've got my little ghosty. Hopefully you can see her there on my sleeve. This is a size large, and I really like the fit. Generally, when they do shirts, they do a unisex, and so you have to think about men's sizes. So the large works really well for me, and it's always a soft sweatshirt and very comfortable and very warm, which is something that I need now here in Southwest Ohio. So in today's video, I have what I'm currently stitching on. I have finishes, I have FFOs, and you know I always have haul. I also have a home tour of my Halloween fall decorations, and I also did participate in the NorthCoast Tour to Stitch event this month, so I have a few photos from that, and I'll have the haul included in that section. So I had been waiting on this book, The Story Stitcher. Joanne, she is the author of this book, and I got mine from Amazon. And congratulations to her. It's already on the bestseller list. This is not really something that I would normally read. It's called The Heart of Bennett Hollow, and it's an Appalachian Pride and Prejudice retelling. So it's a historical fiction type thing. Not something that I would normally read. I'm more of a crime drama. Give me a good detective story anytime, and I'm all about that. And I'm not really good about sitting and reading a book. I'm more audiobooks. But I wanted to support her, and I thought, you know, there's nothing wrong with changing things up. So hopefully I can find some time now that things are going to be cooling down and won't be having so many outside activities. Maybe I'll find some reading time. So I'm looking forward to that. I do have a subscription to Just Cross Stitch, and I got my 2025 Christmas holiday edition the other day in the mail. So there is a lot of cute things in here. Actually, the front of the magazine is kind of what got me, especially this little dog here. Hopefully you can see it. And then the snowman here. Done on 2-inch wood blocks, finished on 2-inch wood blocks. I'm thinking I may, if I decide to do that, stitch it on perforated paper. I think that would be a lot easier to attach to those blocks. But if you get a chance, pick one up. It's always nice to have in your collection. And I'm looking forward to trying a couple of these out. Every year in October, there is an event here in Ohio for some of the cross-stitch shops called the NorthCoast Tour to Stitch. This year there were 7 shops that were involved with it. There's been more and sometimes less involved with it every year. And I think that started in, I think I found on Facebook that it started in September of 2016. So this year, the shops that were involved were Claire's Stitching Post. That's from Million, Ohio. And I had already been up there this summer when I went to visit my stitchy sister, Molly. So I had been there, and that is actually right on Lake Erie. And Craft Gallery, which a lot of you know about Craft Gallery in Findlay, Ohio. A lot of people who come here to go to StitchCon will take the 2-hour drive up north, 75, and go visit that shop. And then the Crafty U is in Broadview Heights, Ohio, and that's up close to Lake Erie, and that's a really nice shop, and they have a lot of events and things that they do. And Cross My Heart is in Columbus. It's actually north of Columbus. It's Upper Arlington, and that's a nice shop to stop at, and they host, I think, a couple of retreats a year. Just Stitching Ink, that's Shelley. She's in Strongsville, Ohio. And I highly encourage you to follow Shelley. She does a floss tube, like about a half-hour floss tube every Sunday night. I always look forward to her videos, and she always has a lot of good information, area events and things like that that are going on up there. She also does this little mini newsletter that you can sign up for, and that's how I found out about the tour and who was in it. She was a good resource for that. And then Little Creek Needleworks there in Canton. It's a pretty small shop. I think if I remember right, I haven't been there for a couple years, but I think if I remembering right, she has a lot of fabric there. And I know that, she does stitching nights and things like that, which I think a lot of these shops do. If you're in their area, you might want to check that out. And then Riverview Stitching, she's in Monroe, Michigan. And that is really a very unique place to go. It's just over the border. And it's an old church, and they've taken out all the pews. And you walk in, and she's got tons of fabric on the right, and she's got tons of floss on the left, and then all that other goodness in between. But it's a really nice place to visit also. So I will list all of these below. Most of them do have a social media presence. I think the only one that does FlossTube is Shelley with Just Stitching Ink. So you might start tuning into her channel, and she's always full of good information about the tour. So I did get haul from each place I went, and I ended up going to Craft Gallery. They're under new ownership, and I think with Craft Gallery, Paula and Carlton are probably who everybody's used to seeing when they go up there, but they've since retired. I think they had it for like 47 years, and now Christy and Sarah took over this year, and they're about 2 hours north of where I live, but they have a really good media presence on Facebook. They're doing a lot of events and things like that. So if you're in the area or willing to travel to see them, I would definitely start following them. And then the next day, I went to Cross My Heart in Columbus, and I always like to see what they have in their shop. Like all of the shops, they have unique things that a lot of times you can't find online, you can't find anywhere else, and that's the fun part about seeing the shops in person. And then I went to Big Bad Wolf's House of Stitches. That's in Gallion, Ohio, and she was on the tour last year. That's how I found out about her, and plus one of my Stitchy sisters goes there a lot. And it is a real hardware store, and she's got kind of a back corner for cross stitch, but she has a lot of nice things, and it's always a fun place to stop. So I'll have all of these places listed below, and hopefully maybe one year you and some friends can get together and do some of the tour. I have one older WIP now, which is One Nation that I've been working on, and I haven't really done any more on that. I have big plans for finishing that in 2026, so I will be doing a lot on that next year. And so a lot of other patriotic stitching next year as well. This hasn't started yet, but on Monday, Primrose, probably a lot of you have seen this. It's the happy 250th birthday America stitch, where they're suggesting you do a star a day. Probably what I'm going to do is thinking on Sundays I'm going to do 7 stars. So every Sunday I'm going to pull it out and get 7 stars done for the whole week instead of pulling it out every day. But that will be fun, and that starts on stitch along starts on October 27th, which is Monday. And then downstairs, in my stitchy chair, I am working on, I wanted to tell you on the 250th, on the stars, my colors are going to be B52-100 for the white. I have Color and Cotton Battleship, which is the blue. And then I have Gentle Arts Buckeye Scarlet for the red. I decided that I just like the idea of stitching a red Buckeye Scarlet on my flag. And that is going to be on 28 count oatmeal even weave vintage cloth by Lori Holt. Okay, and then right now I'm stitching on, and this came in the Sip and Stitch box. This is America, My Home Sweet Home, and that's from Primrose, of course. And this is being stitched on 28 count light taupe blue Ghana, and I'm using the called for DMC threads on that. So I've got that in a nerd hoop, but this is where I am right now. And I'm really enjoying stitching that. I like to do the lettering first if I can, because I like to work backwards. I like to do what I consider the most boring part first, and then do the fun stuff. So now I'm working on the row of houses, and that has been a lot of fun to work on every evening. And let's see, did I say what I was doing that on? That is 28 count light taupe blue Ghana with the DMC threads. And upstairs, when I'm on Zoom with my Stitchy sisters, I'm working on Priscilla's, this is a Dapper Doodad, and that is Strawberry Farm. I had just pulled out, a while ago, I pulled out a bunch of her patterns that I wanted to get done, and that was one of them, even though it's summer and I kind of like stitching seasonally. That's kind of totally gone out the window here recently. But this is where I'm at on that. So it's an easy one to do while I'm sitting and chatting with the ladies. And that one I am stitching on 14 count chalkboard black, and she always does classic color work threads on her projects, which is something I really appreciate, that she kind of sticks with the same, kind of threads. I have quite a collection of classic color works because of her, and she sticks with kind of the same color palettes and that kind of thing. So when I like a designer and I have a lot of their patterns, I really appreciate that they do that they reuse the same color of floss, and they're very consistent with stitching on 28 counts. It's Monaco that they stitch on. So I am working on that one up there and hoping to get that done. As you guys know, I watch a lot of FlossTube, and I always like to shout out a few FlossTube standouts. So I talked about Shelly at Just Stitching Ink a little bit already, having to do with the Tour de Stitch. And I really think that you would enjoy her short little floss tubes, and she usually gives a lot of good information. So I would follow her. She's at the shop in Strongsville, Ohio. And then I've been hearing the name Tara Sullivan from a lot of floss tubers, and I thought I would check her out. She does amazing, amazing projects and gets them fully finished. In her FlossTube number 27, her FlossTube channel is Sully Stitches, Sully Stitches. And she does a tour of her Halloween decor. It is amazing. So I will definitely link that FlossTube below. Also, a new floss tuber, Five Oaks Farm Stitching. She's Rachel Mayberry, and she not only stitches, but she also quilts. She lives on a farm. She only has about maybe 3 or 4 floss tubes out, but I watched her quilting one last night, and that was really fun to see too. So I will list all of these floss tubers below with a link to their channels, and I hope you check them out. So in conclusion, my plans are to get some more FFOs done. Now that it's cooler and it's cooler upstairs, I really have no excuse, but I've been kind of putting that off, and other things have been going on, so I hope to get back to getting some things fully finished. In the meantime, I will be working on America, My Home Sweet Home, on the Dapper Doodad from Priscilla Strawberry Farm, and I will be starting the happy 250th birthday Sal with Primrose and start stitching my little stars on Monday night. Let's see. Please stay tuned. Attached, I will have a home tour of my Halloween and fall decor. I'll have some photos from the Tour de Stitch, and I did get to see one of my stitchy sisters when I went to the hardware store. I was kind of texting her and telling her where I was at, and she and her husband drove over, and we had a good chat, and it was always good to give her a hug in person, so that was fun. So hey, Lori. And I want to thank everybody for watching, and until we meet again, be excellent to each other. I finished Silhouette Bear. In fact, I wanted to have that mounted in its hoop, but that hasn't happened yet. This is from Michaels. I saw this on one of their advertisements, and then I went to my local Michaels and found it. So I have the hoop for it. It was like $4.26 or something like that with tax and everything. I did wash this, and I was trying to get some of the sizing out of it because this fabric felt like it was plastic. It was 100% cotton, but it actually felt like it was plastic. It was so stiff. So it did soften it up a little bit. I'm hoping it'll, work well on the hoop. But the only change I made to this was I added Gatlinburg in there. Because this little kit reminded me of the trip that Jim and I took to Gatlinburg last year, and we saw probably a dozen black bear, a lot of mamas with babies. So I loved that. Kind of a memory stitch for that trip. And I wanted to show you this Bitsy Bob. I have a lot of these. That's So Kelly actually created this, and I have a lot of them this size, and I have some bigger, but she's not making them anymore, but she does have a pattern for them if anybody's interested in trying to make one. But this is the handiest little thing. I just love it. I choose one for every project and put it in my project bag. And then this project bag I used, I think I showed this already, but it's from Fat Quarter Shop. And I put a little scissor charm on there, or zipper pull, whatever you want to call it on there. But I was happy to get Silhouette Bear done, and hopefully next time that'll be a FFO. So I had to finish, actually this was a start and finish this month. This is a little kit that one of the girls gave me that I used to work with, Caitlin. So it is tiny. It's like, it fits in a 3-inch hoop. And I just thought that that was really cute, and I wanted to get that one stitched up and put in my craft room. Just a little reminder every day that adventure is calling. So this is from, it says it's 3 Bird Designs, and she got that at Hobby Lobby. So it came with the fabric, floss, and the hoop to finish it in. So I have this project bag that I had it in, which that is from Fat Quarter Shop. And I'm gonna actually wash this and try to soften up the Ada just a little bit more before I put it in the hoop. But hopefully that will be a finish next time. If you can hear it raining in the recording, we are having torrential downpours today. This is October 7th. We've been in a drought, so we are getting much needed rain, but it has just been pouring all day, and it's very loud. So if that's the weird noise you're hearing, that's what it is. This is Playing with Jacks, and I fully finished it. And I think I talked about it in my last FlossTube that I had finished stitching it. And I did eliminate this bottom border on it. I had this this pumpkin that I found at the Christmas tree shops when we had one around here. So I wanted to finish that on there. And then that this ribbon I got at Joann's. I was scouring through the Joann's stores before they closed on us, and that was one of the things I found. But I did have an issue on here getting this straight. You can kind of see that those on both sides, that it's kind of veering out a little bit. But that's because I did not stitch this in a hoop, so my stitches are really tight. And I think it just pulled it too much in here and not enough out here. But really, when you see it on the shelf I have it on, you can't really tell that it's not, that's not how it's supposed to be. So I'm just going to keep it like that. And I like it. It looks great. I think this pumpkin backer was really good color to put it on. So I'm enjoying it for this season. I had a finish and an FFO on the Stitching Parliament. This is what I chose to do for my birthday stitch this year. So I started that in June, and then I finished it this month. And I got this frame for it. It's Mill Hill 8x8 frame. So it's black, and then it has like a time-worn look to show the wood through there. So I really like that. And I did make a couple of changes on this. I moved the branches under specks and hoops down one so that the leaf wouldn't be touching hoops there. And I backstitched the S and snips scissor fob there. And I think that was about all I did on this. But it was stitched on 32 count white Lugana. And then I used DMC threads. But it turned out so cute. And I'm excited to put it up in the craft room. I got that frame at Busy Beaver in Beaver Creek, Ohio. I had done a little video about their anniversary in the last FlossTube, so it was nice to be able to see the Mill Hill frames in person. And they had several different colors and things, so I'll be probably back for more. As I've been getting them out and switching out decor this year, I've been showing my trekking along and my wordplay. So these are for October. This is the trekking along by Stitching with the Housewives. And I probably haven't told you, but I did stitch the two pieces together because Priscilla charted these separately, like the October was separate from this part, and I stitched them together like Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop. I think she did that. And this is October with a needle and thread. I just love this one. I don't remember what fabric that was on, but it was perfect for it. So I had a few little extra Halloween things. I haven't figured out where I want to display those this year, so I thought I would just show them to you and figure that out later. But these little bags here, I had these little canvas bags for a long time just upstairs in my inventory. And this Boo, I can't pronounce who the designer was. I'll have all this listed down below for you in the description box. But I just put some, little fringy stuff around there and put a ribbon across up here and used Aleene's glue for that. And this one is called Frida Frady Cat, and that's from Hot House Petunia Designs. And I think I picked up that pattern at the Columbus cross stitch store, Cross My Heart. This is called Crow Halloween Pendibule from Doreen Jones. So it's an ornament. So someday when I have a Halloween tree, I'd like to get that on there. And this is what the back looks like. So she had really good instructions on how to put that together, but also Helen D had done that, and she had an instructional tutorial on her channel on how to do that. This one is Halloween Holiday Hoopla with a needle and thread, and I love how that one turned out with the little felt guy on the top and all the trims, and that was just a really fun one to do, and made the use DMC thread for her broom and have the little jack-o'-lantern on the bottom of it. So that was a really fun one to do. I did that one in 2019. I received the Autumn Sip and Stitch box from Primrose Cottage. I really like that they're switching out Autumn and Halloween, so we got Autumn this year. I really like that idea. So here's the drinking vessel. That is 20 ounces, so that's a really nice size. And I got the Autumn Gourd needle minder. I got the floss pack and the finishing kit. And then this is a little mini book stand, which is totally collapsible. I really like that. That's going to go in my retreat bag. It's nice and light, and it's going to be really nice to have because I like to use magnetic boards with my charts. So we also got some flower drops. I don't usually use those. I usually pass those on to one of my stitchy sisters, but I do like the stickers. So that was included. Then we have a release list, and there's a chart on the back, which is actually this little stitch right here, which is so cute. And Happy Harvest, the pillow, and the autumn basket. I really like that they are using different colors other than the traditional colors. Now a lot of the designers are kind of experimenting with different colors for different seasons, and I really like that. So I'm excited to get all this organized and get started on something. I received the October Free Stitch Friday. I purchased the stitching kit and the finishing kit. So I got the Classic Colorworks colors. And the pattern does say that these are Weeks Dye Works, but I think she said on her FlossTube she knew she had put that down wrong. But they are Classic Colorworks. And I chose the 32 count platinum. This is the Weigart Lugana. So I got that. And then I got the zipper pull, the autumn thread zipper pull, and the finishing kit. It has a couple of fabrics in there, trims, the wool backing. So I am really enjoying these colors that Lindsay is choosing for autumn this year. So this matches what was in the Sip and Stitch. So I got some fabric haul from an Etsy store called Strangs and Things. It's all one word. It's STRANGSN Things. And I saw a post that Night Owl Stitcher, that she had made a project bag out of some Halloween fabric, which was kind of like this, and she said she got that on Etsy. Well, I didn't get that, but I picked up these two, and I just love the non-traditional colors. So I'm excited to kind of figure out how I'll use these, but I just thought they were adorable. The Goodwill Easter Seals of Miami Valley is in downtown Dayton, and apparently they have a sale. I think it was called a fall sewing sale that I went to earlier this month, and I got a few things there. I think it's like a one night only thing or one weekend only thing, and mainly what they have is fabric to sell, but they do have a few cross stitch things and other things that you can buy. But I got a couple pieces of fabric. This was just a fat quarter, and that was $1. And then I got this piece. I think there's a whole yard of that, but I thought that was really pretty. Don't know what I'll use it for, but that was $5. And then over in the cross stitch section, I found this tote, like a tote purse or whatever, and I couldn't leave that there. And it was full of things, mainly DMC floss. So I got all of this DMC floss, and it had a couple other little things in it. It had a floss organizer, which I will probably pass on to someone else. And it had a magnet board, but it was kind of rusty, so I threw it out. But I thought all this DMC floss would be good, and most of them just had little pieces out of them. So I was going to add that to my collection, but for $5, I got this cute bag, and it's got a nice bottom in it and wood handles. I am going to have to clean it up a little bit though, because it is kind of stained. So, but anyway, I thought that was a good haul there for my first time going there. So I told you about the NorthCoast Tour to Stitch that was happening this month. And I did go to 3 of the shops this year. Well, actually, one of the shops wasn't in the tour this year, but I went to 2 of the shops in the tour out of the 7. And the first day we went to Findlay to Craft Gallery. I know a lot of you have heard about Craft Gallery. And so I got 3 patterns there and a needle minder. Believe it or not, I did not have a couple of Primrose. I think I was just kind of on the fence whether I'd really stitch these or not, so I hadn't gotten them yet. So I got St. Patrick's Day and I got Halloween letters. But I'm finding I really like stitching these, so I'm going to put those on my list. And then from Stitchy Pros, this is Holly Freeman. This is Cardinal's Promise. And it says, when you see a cardinal, know this promise is true. I am never far away. I am always here with you. And that so reminds me of my grandmother Weaver, because she loved red. She wore red all the time. She loved cardinals and had a lot of them in her Christmas decor. So I definitely want to stitch that up. And then I got this needle minder, and it says, this is proof I have patience to stab something 1,000 times. I know we've all seen that before, but I don't think I have a needle minder that says that, so I wanted to get one of those. So the next day we took off for Cross My Heart, which is actually north side of Columbus. It's in Upper Arlington. And I picked up, I wanted to get this one. I'm thinking about all the patriotic stitches next year, and wanted to get that. So this is Heart and Hand Cecilia Turner. This is one of the doodles, red, white, and blue. And there's a couple of colors in this I didn't have. I do have a pretty good stash of classic color works, but I picked up Jakey Brown and Blacksmith Blue. And I also got, seeing this in person, can't even hardly fit it in here, but I also got the folk paddle that the hands-on design samplers were mounted on, the seasonal samplers, but I'll probably use this for something else. But I really liked it once I saw it in person, so I got that. And then the shop that was not in the tour this year was H.R. Wolf Hardware, and this is in Galion, Ohio. It's close to Mansfield. So I got a couple pieces of fabric. I got some needles, just number 26 needles. And then I got from Atomic Ranch, I got Prairie Land and 32 count. And I got Affogato, and this is Fiber on a Whim. And that is also, no, that's 28 count. So I got those, and she was doing a special thing that day. If you bought $25 worth, she was giving you a project bag, and they had their own scissor fobs made with their name on it and website. So it's always fun to go in there because it actually is a big hardware store, and she's got her little cross stitch corner in the back. So that was a fun couple of days. These are at the front door. A little welcoming trick or treat, and then Hello Fall by Stitching with the Housewives. I got the hutch decorated, and at the top there is a bucket brigade that was in Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. That's a Stitching with the Housewives. Right below that is Jack-O-Lantern, and that's a word swap by Stitching with the Housewives. Then I've got Word Play for October. And on this side, I have Luminous Fiber Arts, and I don't remember the name of that. But the little pumpkin girl there with the kind of upset face, my mom made me that in ceramics. And then down here I've got a Mary Moo. I've had her for a long time, probably since the 90s. And then the Snoopy cup came from Primrose Cottage. I have a lot of Luminous Fiber Arts Halloween. That's her favorite season to design for. and I have quite a few of her designs. Now this I used to put in a basket, but now I'm going to have to figure out something different for it because I do like having it on the hutch, but it doesn't really look complete, so I'll have to figure something out for that. And I totally forget what this stitch is. I actually made one for a smalls exchange. It was for a stitch etc. retreat, and of course I had to make one for myself. So, and that little pumpkin basket is ceramic, also something my mom made me. And then the Nevermore pillow is the Luminous Fiber Arts. And this Halloween piece was a piece that we did at that Stitch Etc. retreat. I think that was in 2021. Priscilla was there, Chelsea was sick, but it was really nice to meet Priscilla, and she showed us how to finish that. Wishing her well. And then Surrender the Treats. I think this is a hands-on design. I'm going to list all of these at the bottom of the video with their right names and the right designers in case I got anything wrong. So if you're interested in looking them up, it will be there. This is the metal basket that I got at the Amana Colonies this summer. So I just set it out on the table with the candles that I usually have on this table. But I think I'm going to get some raffia or something like that to put down on the bottom of it and lift those up just a little bit. I don't usually really burn them, so, but if I do, I'll take the raffia out. No worries. And over in this corner on the bookshelf, I've got, I'm trying to remember what that's called. It's a Bent Creek, and it was a kit. Candy corn something. The little gnome, I found him. He was actually on a jute string hanger at Hobby Lobby, and I had that wood pumpkin, and I just glued him on there, and I just love how that turned out. It looks really cute. And then down here, I've got Playing with Jacks, which I just finished. And over on the tower, now, the little pillow that's in there, that was a, excuse me, that was a Smalls Exchange gift. And I think that was from that Stitch Etc. retreat I was at. And then I like to put these out. And I think actually I bought those pumpkins too at that Stitch Etc. retreat. That was in 2021, I think. And then I've got one of those little benches. Got a few little things on there. In this corner of the dining room, I have my Let's Talk series. That's where I'm displaying that by Jim's grandmother's Singer sewing machine. Sorry for the harsh light. Been trying to work with that, but it's not working out too well, so we're just going with it. This is an ornament from a Friend Stitch box. This was Bent Creek and Heart and Hand. And then I wanted to show you this little cutie up here. My cousin's son graduated from high school last year, and his girlfriend taught him how to crochet. So he made a whole bunch of these things, and he was here at a craft fair last year here in Greene County selling these. So I had to get this little guy. So cute. And the hat I had in my decor, so I thought, oh, that'll fit just perfect. So I love having that out. Now up here, I think the lights are not going to cooperate, but I think the mom and dad was from Sam Sarah, but I will list everything below with the right names so that you'll have that if you want it. And then I had that framed with a picture of my parents. This is Cinnamon Stars. I started that at StitchCon 2022 and finished it at StitchCon in 2023. So I've got this up by the back door. I'll show you the fireplace mantle. This little sign I've had probably since the 90s. I got it at a craft fair. I just think it's so cute, and I decided to hang that on the stove fireplace. And then on the mantle, I've got a few little cute things I've found. And then this is, I stitched this last year. And it's a Primrose Cottage. And Happy Halloween. So I'm loving how the mantle looks, and it's all festive. And that is it for the tour.